Welcome to Game Crunch Game of the Year 2021 with Mike.
Don't listen to his siren song. Do not.
With Brandon.
Oh my god, I forgot.
With Dave.
I love the whatever.
And Nick.
Man, that could have got really bad.
There are many great games, but only one can be the best. Only one can be Game of the Year.
Welcome to Game Crunch Game of the Year 2021. My name is Mike Anastasia. With me today we have Brandon.
Hello.
Nick.
Hey.
And Dave's here with us.
Ahoy hoy.
Talk about the best, the worst, and the whatevers of 2021.
I love the whatevers.
Those are my favorites.
Those are usually always interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
Don't worry, I'll have my random indie games that no one's heard of also in this list.
that's always.
That you guys won't see for another 2 years on console, and then you'll be like, this is a pretty good game.
Yeah. It does happen. So we're going to go through a bunch of different categories today. If you listened to us before, you know, it's usually what we do. Each category, we narrow it down to basically one winner and two runners-up. Everything else is eliminated. In these categories, it's majority rules. So, which could be fun.
It
we
might
have four
be
this time.
enjoyable.
Yeah, we might
We
have some
might
ties.
actually have to use persuasion.
It
Take
might
it
be
somewhere.
a slog. Who knows?
Who
I
knows?
like some compromise.
It's a great
Listen,
day.
Depends
I'll
on
go with
how
you
I
this
feel
category,
today.
You gotta come with me on that category.
That is literally how we do it. You've never been here, but quite literally we'll be like, listen, I'll let you have this one. But you gotta remember me in this upcoming one.
A lot of it's funny because if you go back and listen to like past Game of the Years, a lot of it is just one of us bribing another one to have another one of their games win a category. It's never
It's
like
totally
this is
true.
100% the best game. It was like, well, Brennan, piss fart shooter had to win this round, so I guess I gotta play Golf Adventure for the next one.
I
Well,
do really
damn.
like the year that I got Brandon. I don't remember what it was. We made a bet like in like the first day, and I just remember holding it over your head until the top 10.
You did, and then you're like, well, let's drop this one off and put it in.
Very tactical.
Was that the Tetris Effect one that made me really sad because I love Tetris Effect so much?
I don't even remember. The top 10 list is always like the hardest part.
Those are so fun though.
Mike went to bed that night. Was like, I broke another man's spirit. All in a day's work.
Nice.
So-
And building back up again.
So that knows where we are for this. We do, if there are any spoilers, we will let you know ahead of the time.
Thanks.
So, but at least right now, you should be good. So check the show notes if you're worried, and stay tuned because there's always lots of Game of the Year stuff. All right, you guys ready for the first category?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
This one will be an easy one because there's only 4 things. That means it has to be easy.
Well, I mean, I don't think anyone else could think of anything. So like,
No, I know. It's Breath of Fresh Air, which is basically like a game that we just feel really felt like something new and fresh and different compared to some of the stuff we've seen over the last couple of years. So it doesn't necessarily mean a new IP, because that category is probably dead in the water this year. But,
yeah.
but there is some good stuff here. So the nominees are Returnal, The Medium, Guardians of the Galaxy, and Metroid Dread. Those are your Breath of Fresh Airs.
Cool. So I put
Yeah.
the first 3 in here.
Surprise, surprise! I was not the one who put Metroid Dread in there. I
Yeah, I'm a
actually
little
did not
surprised how Metroid showed up in here, but that's fine.
I put it
The only
in
game I've-
when we were just going through it again.
Uh-huh.
Because I was like, you know what? Like, we really have not had like a Metroid game like this in at least 20 years. So I'm
Sure.
like, I feel like this is a breath of fresh air. This is something new and exciting.
Yeah, I understand that.
Mhm.
So, I can explain my 3, and this normally comes down to me trying to explain why one of my picks should be the winner when it comes down to this. So, first of all, Returnal, I think, is probably the first AAA roguelike that we have ever gotten. And the quality of this game is phenomenal. It is very well done from start to finish, and it doesn't feel like it sacrifices anything because of its gameplay. In fact, so many people wanted it to sacrifice things and be like, change up your gameplay. It doesn't cater to me. And Returnal was like, I don't give a fuck what you want. This is my game, and I'm going to do what I want. And that's what the devs did initially. They went back on some stuff and added some checkpoint systems in and everything. But the initial release of Returnal was just a brutally hard bullet hell shooter that was incredibly fun and fast paced, that also had a bunch of Metroid like elements to it, where like you had to find your way around certain areas and collect items so that you could go to different areas and do different things. And it had a lot of those aspects of a Metroidvania, but in like bite-sized things, because you'd be running through those biomes as fast as you can and fighting the enemies. But when you first start the game, obviously you're going to be going slower, you're going to be learning the world, you're going to be learning what guns are good and what isn't. But like by hour 4, you're like, I don't need this shit, get out of here. And just like grabbing things like a normal roguelike and being like, that's the gun I want, that's what I want, I'm going to go get that gun, I'm going to try to find this gun. Is that what's in this is that what's inside this chest? Nope, it's not. Gonna go try to find another chest. Found another chest. Is it here? Yep, that's the gun I want. Okay, we're doing this run with that. Oh fuck, I'm dead. Gotta start over. And then like that element on top of something that was like a AAA game that looked and played as well as this game did was such like, it was so surprising, because you only see like roguelites and roguelikes and roguelites and roguelikes that are like indie games, or they're like lesser known titles and this sort of thing. But here's like a AAA studio putting out something that's a exclusive on a Sony console, and it's really fucking good, and they didn't like sacrifice any of their vision to make it. They didn't care. They just were like, this is the game we're making, and that was the game they made. And seeing a company just in a gaming development company just be like, yeah, I'm just gonna make this, I don't care. And they did, and it was as good as it was for those that did play it or could play it. Was just so surprising, because so many people don't have a backbone to actually make the game they want nowadays, and it is kind of really sad to see that. But these people were just like, this is our kind of game, this is what it is, you don't like it, that's fine, here it is. And it happened to be my general niche and several other people's general niche, and as such, those that liked the game really liked the game. So that's why I put it on this list.
Okay.
Cool.
I also put on the Medium. Did anyone play the Medium at all?
I don't even remember what it is.
I saw a
Okay.
review of it, but I didn't play it. That came out early, didn't it? Early in the
Yeah,
year?
it did. It came out very early in the year.
Yeah.
This game is... I saw that someone somewhere on one of these lists put the remaster of Myst, so a little spoiler for that, sorry. But if you like those kind of adventure games, like, this is what the Medium kind of felt like. It's a third-person adventure game, so it's similar to something like Siberia, if you ever heard of those series, where you're like walking around and solving puzzles and doing this, that, and the other. But what's different about this is you're able to see spirits and interact with them, and you're able to go in between the living realm and the spirit realm. And as such, like, when you do that, you can see both realms at the same time on your screen in like a split kind of state. And then you interact with different things in one area to cause things to happen in another area. And it's a puzzle game, but it's also like a horror game, but it's also like an adventure point and click game. And all of that together was just very well put together. And it was a very interesting and different kind of game to see. So there you go. That's the Medium.
Cool.
Okay.
I asked you to buy this.
How
Did you
dare
buy
you.
Guardians of the Galaxy?
I did, and I started playing
What,
it.
you did. What'd you
Yes.
think of this?
I love the atmosphere and the style and the dedication to the era. I played in the bedroom for a little bit and just kind of moved the camera around. I went to free camera mode and just kind of looked at all the details. It was pretty neat to see all the just kind of made up stuff that they put in there. All kinds of stuff from like my time frame, a little bit before my time, but still like some neat stuff in there. And then I've only played like the first level, so I'm not even really in that. But I was just really blown away by the level of quality and detail and the voice acting, and I'm really excited to keep on playing it. So, of the 4 on this list that I can talk to, Guardians is the only one that I would. If I'm going to vote for anyone, I'm only going to vote for the one I played. So
okay.
I'm gonna give it
Well,
to
you don't have to
Guardians.
specifically vote for the one you play. If one of us can
Oh,
sell
okay.
you on something else, that's the thing. That's
Right.
why I
Okay.
talk a lot during these.
Got it.
Because I try to sell people on things, and maybe they haven't played it, but the concept sounds interesting, and other people can do the same, obviously.
Yeah,
And if it sounds
absolutely.
like something they like, and they haven't played it, they'll be like, okay, this is why you should give it to this.
Yeah, I've heard
And
very
as
good
for
things
Guardians-
about Returnal, but I don't have a
yeah.
PS5, so
Yeah,
You know.
I totally understand. It's
I'm not
very
getting a
difficult to
PS5
get
until
this.
I can go into a store and to buy it off the shelf. That's when I'll buy a PS5. And I'm not going to buy the original PS5. I'm going to buy the PS5 Slim for $200.
So in like
in
4
in
years,
5
maybe
years.
5. Yeah,
Yeah. That's when I'll
Understandable.
Get my PS5.
totally get
All right,
that.
I'm still collecting all my free PS Plus games, and when I get my
Nice, yeah.
PS5 in 5 years, I'll have like 50 games on it. It'd be great, or more.
Yeah. Totally agree. Huh? Sounds
That's
great.
smart.
So yeah, my thing with Guardians of the Galaxy is we just had 2 like stinkers of like Marvel games in general, or like very mediocre Marvel games that just felt like massive cash grabs, more or less, for either the company or Marvel in general. And to see a game that had so much heart put into it and had so much quality put into it, to the point where, like I mentioned to you guys before, they made their own band for this game specifically, that it was just a breath of fresh air to see someone actually give a shit about something so much that was a property, especially after the same publisher just shat out something without even giving a fuck about it a year ago, right? Maybe 2 years ago?
Yeah,
No?
I think with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just such a different change going from Marvel's Avengers to this, and I had no expectations for this game, mostly because it was shoved down my throat over and over and over again. But it was a really neat squad-based shooter and action game with a lot of dialogue choices and things that actually kind of steered the story in certain ways that were like, okay, this is cool. I like this. This is neat. Kind of had like a Mass Effect-y vibe to it, and it's like, all right, I can dig this. And like Dave mentioned, the writing is really well done, and the detail for the world that this game takes place in is also like excellent. So that's why it's here.
Okay.
Yeah, totally agree. I love the fact that the band is actually Star-Lord. That's pretty neat. I wonder if is that based on canon from the comic?
I don't know, actually.
No, I don't believe so.
I think this was just their own thing, to like taking things from both the comics and the movies and just kind of making their own thing with it. But I don't think they specifically took that aspect. I might be wrong. I'd have to look further into it.
I mean, I don't remember that from the movies, so it must be
Oh
something.
no,
they're
it definitely
doing
wasn't
here.
in the movies. Yeah.
Mhm.
Right.
I don't know anything about Guardians of the Galaxy movies.
You haven't seen them?
No.
They're actually very good. You could just watch them as comedy movies and ignore the
Mhm.
fact that they're Marvel films.
Yeah, I mean they look like they're pretty like independent.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't watch a ton of movies.
That's
my
fair.
problem. Yeah.
You see No Way Home, right?
What's that?
I have not. He doesn't watch Marvel, period. So
Oh, Brandon, you haven't seen it?
Whoa.
I have not.
interesting.
No.
Oh,
I told you I haven't. I can't drag myself out to a movie theater. I just can't do it.
That's fair.
Okay.
My
yeah,
family's too
it's-
important. So
Oh yeah, that's totally understandable. No, he'll be
And
out
I
on
live by
Disney Plus
myself.
eventually.
I have like 3 people that are disabled in my family. So it's like,
Oh, yeah.
Not really the best idea.
Mm-mm. No, it is not. All right. Want to talk about Metroid?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me
It's
hear it.
fantastic. It's a breath of fresh air. Everyone should vote for it.
Sold.
So you play as this girl named Samus.
No,
I would have laughed if you said this girl named Metroid.
This is
That's
Samus
what I was
Metroid.
gonna say
You play
so
as this
bad.
machine man named Metroid.
His name is Metroid. He's pretty strong.
People think, oh yeah, you're playing as Zelda, and you're the boy from Zelda. No,
He's a pretty
No, but I
strong
mean,
man.
But I mean, my thoughts are pretty much exactly what I said at the beginning. Like, for Metroid to return to basically what it was on the Super Nintendo was really nice. It was not a handholdy experience, despite what we've gotten in the past. It was just nice to have a nice, like, true 2D Metroid game that really played up like a lot of the strengths from the past by adding a bunch of new stuff in as well. I just thought it was fantastic to explore through. I thought it was really a nice, like, living environment, and I don't know. I just thought they did a great job I thought they did a great job with it. It was just nice. It just to go through from beginning to end. It was just a very fun experience, and it really was challenging, but not frustrating, which I enjoyed. So
That's good.
that's my elevator pitch on Metroid Dread.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I
Mhm.
think it was a very well done game, and it didn't really handhold at all. And as such, yeah, it was good to see that.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be funny if they put like that fairy from Zelda into Metroid. Be like pops up. Hey, you can shoot the
Now it's
Metroid
super
with your
handheld.
gun.
Or better yet, it's just like they have the sword from Zelda instead.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. Fi.
Yeah, Fi.
Oh yeah.
Because that was remastered this year, last year.
We'll talk about it again. That 5 will come up
Spoilers.
again. Spoilers.
Oh no!
Spoilers.
I'm
Anyways,
gonna
it's
have to
time to
like
vote.
take the headbuds out,
Oh.
earbuds out at that point. Still want to play these games.
Well, you got a ways before we're at something like that, so
Yeah.
don't worry. Mm-hmm.
So what? So do we vote now, or do we? How do we?
Yeah, we
this?
can
Yeah, we do the vote, and
we
I
kind of
mean,
discuss amongst each other.
yeah, it's very freeform. We can either, be like, hey, I think that this game is definitely number one, or I think this game is a runner-up, or I think this game shouldn't even be on this list. So,
Shit.
yeah, whichever way you want to take it, there is plenty of direction.
Okay. Well, I would say, I'm definitely want to play Metroid Dread, right? I just haven't gotten around to it, so I'm very anticipating. I love the Metroid series, so if I were to vote for any one of these, if I haven't played it, I'm gonna go with Metroid Dread.
Hell yeah.
I like roguelikes. I played Hades. I thought that was a fun game. But
Very good
those,
game.
I could see myself getting frustrated halfway
you
through
absolutely will.
and then putting it down and never playing it again. And then I'm thinking, there's so many games I buy that I either don't play or I don't get to play the full value of. And the last game, most recently I played was Resident Evil 8. I played that all the way through. I'd love to play it again because I know on multiple playthroughs when you get the infinite ammo, it's amazing.
Oh, that's the most fun. Like,
Yeah.
I played that game, I think 5 times. I finished it.
Yeah, so it's a whole other game after that. But to play a game all the way through, so that's why I can't vote for Returnal because I know I'm going to play it all the way through.
Totally understand.
The Medium, I heard it got kind of mixed reviews when I saw it, so I wasn't really excited about it. Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm excited to play it, but I think Metroid Dread from this list, for me, would probably be the most, I want to play it. I really want to play it.
And I know Mike and Nick are probably going to say Dread, but honestly, I think Guardians should have won this category. That's just my opinion.
in a twist of fate, I don't consider Metroid. I love Metroid and I love it, and I'll bring it up in other categories. I don't consider it a breath of fresh air.
I don't
Only
either,
because I don't think so. Was it great to see Metroid come back this year? 100%, definitely. Does it do anything to kind of shake up the formula of Metroidvania style games?
No, it's just really good.
It's just really good.
At the end of the day,
That is a
I
breath of
would-
fresh air.
I
Thank
wouldn't
you.
call it. I wouldn't call it a breath
there's
of fresh
so
air.
many really good Metroidvania games that come
would
out
call
now,
it-
though.
I would call it like a sigh of relief because it came back.
Finally,
and it
this
wasn't
is
bad.
something we wanted.
You know what I mean? It came out and everyone was like, "Wait, what if it's bad?" And it wasn't bad. And I was like, "Whew."
Exactly.
All right,
breath
boys, we
of
did it.
fresh
No.
air. We were like,
It was
we're
a-
breathing that fresh
It was
air.
a labored exhale of, man, that could have got really bad.
Breath of the fresh air.
No, we were all with bated breath, and then it came out like,
Thank God.
man, whew.
We're like,
We did it.
that air-
You know,
that air is so
relief
fresh.
air.
So, what do you think then, Nick?
As far as this category goes, let's see here. I'm split between two of them, right? I'm split
Okay.
between Guardians and I'm split between Returnal, and not having played either of them,
Mm-hmm.
there's one that I gravitate more towards,
Mm-hmm.
and that's because it's a breath of fresh air in the sense of it takes a genre that is full of like a lot of games in general, especially lately too. Like there's a lot of roguelikes
They sure are.
that are out that all kind of, I don't want to say do the same thing or play the same way, but are typically they kind of all run together a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like Returnal, as far as roguelikes go, does a lot to really break the mold in that, and is a breath of fresh air in the sense of like this is kind of revitalizing the roguelike genre a little bit because it took some risks and it did some things that were different and it worked.
I also think it makes it a bit more like mainstream by being a AAA game and being like front
Is
and
it a AAA
center.
game though?
Yes, it is. It's House Marquee is owned by Sony,
Okay.
and
It's AAA.
its quality alone makes it AAA. Like the amount of particle effects and the like mocap and the like when you go into first person in that game, because you do at one point, because this is also a horror game. Spoiler.
Ooh, now I really want to play it. Actually.
Yeah, so that aspect of it really like that was probably the first game I played on my PlayStation 5 that I was like, this is what a PlayStation 5 game can be. Sick.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying is like I feel like in terms of breath of fresh air, like that to me would be the most indicative of this category because of how new and fresh and revitalizing it is to that genre. Whereas like Guardians, from what I've seen and what I've heard from you is good, but like it's kind of like your run of the mill squad shooter game, right? And
in a sense, but I think that the way it mixes everything else, like its storytelling, as well as its decisions and choices, its art style, just the story like in general and how well written it is.
Yeah.
It's way different from your normal like Gears of War or something like that. It is a game that's more in line with something like Mass Effect, and as such, it's like, oh wow, okay, did not see that coming.
Yeah, that's understandable, and I think, and like I said, out of all these games, I think I'd be most inclined to go with Returnal for this one. Metroid Dread isn't out of this whole conversation because Metroid Dread will come back up.
Now that we've talked about it and, taking into account, okay, it's a breath of fresh air. That's the category, right? So we're talking about something fresh. I kind of have to go with you on Returnal then, because, I mean, that's probably the freshest, at least, in terms of...
The freshest of air.
Here.
Don't listen to his siren song, David. Do not.
Well, again, I mean, Metroid is Metroid,
you
right?
You flip-flopping bastard!
Without having played it, I have to say, Metroid Dread is still Metroid, right? Guardians of the Galaxy is an IP we all know.
That's true.
Even though it's
Mike
formatted in a different way.
got good about
the Medium, I've
heard
mixed things about the Medium, so I'm not going to back it up. But Returnal, I've heard very good things about it, and it's nobody's ever heard of it. It's brand new.
Why is Inscription not on this list?
Because Inscription is not something I would be able to fight for and explain as a breath of fresh air without spoiling the entire game. And to spoil the entire game of Inscription is to ruin why Inscription is so good. In other words...
So it's too good to be the breath of fresh air, is what you're saying.
It's actually too good for me to put on many of this list because I don't want to spoil it for anyone. So yes, I'm specifically leaving Inscription off of most of these lists so I don't spoil anything about the game.
Lame.
Is it? Oh, it's Devolver. Is it?
It is Devolver. You
PC?
know it's good already. Yeah, it's PC.
Damn.
It has to be PC because of the way the game works.
Don't tell me that. Nothing has to be anything.
Exactly.
But fair. So
are we doing? Returnal's winning? With Media or Guardian and Metroid are the runners up? Is that where we're leaving?
Yeah.
Yep.
Fuck the Medium.
Medium's a very, very good game, and honestly, I think it's like a very smart and well done game, especially for its genre. And it's very different to see something like it. But it did get a lot of mixed reviews, but I think it has more to do with the fact that it's just kind of there. But what it does is special, so that's why I put it in the category. So
All right. So, biggest disappointment of the year is the medium. That's what I should do. Or maybe we could do it next week too, because there'll be more categories. But I should make like a Mad Libs category and
You're just
just
gonna-
make the
you're
category
just gonna
unknown.
put everything I like in
No,
all.
no. The category will just be unknown, and I'll just let you guys nominate games for it and really fight for it.
Ooh, that
Then-
actually sounds
Then
like
we'll
fun.
unveil the category afterwards, and then we have to vote.
That's actually incredible.
I like this idea. I think that it's going to come up for next.
So is it just
When we
gonna
do
be,
our top 10 list, you want to do that also? Because I
is
think
it
that'd
just
be a
gonna
lot
be
of
like,
fun.
hey, pick a game for this category, and I'm not telling you what it is. You just gotta find it out.
It'd be more
Exactly.
fun if we had to take games from our top 10 list
Okay.
and then do it that way.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. That's
Okay.
fine.
Yeah, I like that. We can do that.
I,
That'd be
I,
fun.
I will say, Inscription is absolutely a breath of fresh air, but I can't tell you why. And that's the
Alright.
biggest problem with Inscription.
Okay.
I'm downloading it
You
right
can.
now.
You just don't want to.
I'll-
Wait, did you actually buy it?
I did.
Dude, you
On
are
sale on
the
Steam.
greatest. Yes.
He said, "Fuck it.
Do it.
I'll play it right now or finish the podcast."
I'll
Legit,
be like, oh
give
my
me
gosh, this game is
like,
awesome.
absolutely put a message in chat when you've played enough of Inscription to be like, okay, I understand.
Installing it now.
I
know.
just love hearing how people feel about this game after they play it. That's like,
I know friend of the podcast, Will, loves Inscription.
what's up?
Said friend of the podcast, Will, loves Inscription.
Really? Nice.
Oh, I did
They
I not
they
tell you
might
this?
put that on,
I
put that on the
didn't.
box, actually.
Yeah, he wanted me to tell you. Oops, that was like a month ago.
Yeah, if you look at the box, it says "Friend of the podcast," "Friend of Game Crunch Podcast." Will
Well,
loves.
I feel like he just told you that to tell me specifically because he knew I would love it too.
No, he did. He's
Oh,
like,
nice.
tell Brandon. Because he's like, and I'm like, oh, Brandon loves that game. I already know.
Mhm.
Tell Brandon
You tell
that
Brandon
game
that he has good
Inscription?
taste.
fucking amazing.
Anyways, finish up this category. Breath of Fresh Air goes to Returnal, runners up Guardians of the Galaxy, and Metroid Dread.
Hell yeah.
All right.
What the fuck is my package? I'm sorry.
I don't know, but it's time for the next category.
Oh, your wiener.
No, I can't. My Miku figure's not here yet.
Oh my goodness.
No.
All right.
I'm gonna slap it inside my case.
Next category.
All right.
Biggest disappointment.
Hell
Mhm.
yeah.
We got new Pokemon Snap,
Okay.
Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack,
Okay.
Mario Golf, Phantasy Star Online New Genesis, Far Cry 6, Diablo 2 Remaster.
Okay.
This one hurts.
Yeah.
I
Do
mean,
you
that's why it's
remember-
the biggest disappointment category. That's literally.
Do you remember
it's-
how excited I was for Phantasy Star Online New Genesis?
Yeah, actually, I do.
It killed the player base completely
Every
because they fucked
day
it up so much.
leading up to it, you're like, "Hey guys, new Fantasy Star's coming out," and I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
You're like, "Yeah, baby." I'm like,
Yeah,
"Okay."
Yeah, they ruined the player base of the original game, and then they didn't put out enough content in this one to make it a viable alternative. And they also raised the market prices of everything in the game because they put out a second game. And so you want like a normal costume that you could have paid like $1 million gold for? Yeah, it's like 6 trillion now.
Oh.
Yeah, it's really bad. Like incredibly bad. And it doesn't run well and it doesn't feel fun to play and there's really nothing to do. It's a big massive open world with nothing to do. And it
What's the
just
last-
makes me very sad talking about it. It
Hmm.
makes me very, very sad.
You know what's funny? Actually,
Hmm.
I remember you talking about New Genesis, and I was
Mhm.
like, yeah. And then, like, I guess it came out, and then you didn't talk about the game ever
Yeah.
again. And I'm like, I wonder whatever happened with that.
Yeah. Yes.
That's what happened with that.
It did.
Mhm.
It is indeed what happened with that. And it
What
made
happened?
me incredibly sad.
Although
Mm.
this is also the second game of the year where you expressed disappointment in Phantasy Star Online. So I feel like that's something you should keep in mind too.
What?
Is it really?
Yeah, because there was the one. Remember the one year where he blacklisted Fantasy
You know
Star
what?
Online
Yeah,
because
you're right, because they fucked up their pricing scheme and they completely fucked everybody over. But then they went back on it and fixed it, and then I had to eat my words, and then they released a shoddy product, and then I had to be like, ah, fuck, which is where we're at now.
yeah.
I spent too much money in that game, and now I just kind of have to give it up because there's nothing to it anymore, and it's really sad.
I'd say the new Nintendo Switch online expansion pack was probably one of the biggest appointments. I mean, I haven't played it, but from everything everybody's talked about it, they botched the emulation. It's too expensive. It's not worth it.
They
all these
fucked
other
up a
games.
lot.
Yeah, I mean, don't tell me new Pokemon Snap is bad. I have that sitting like next to my Switch unopened from Christmas. And I'm playing Far Cry 6 right now, and I'm enjoying it. So
Far Cry 6 is dog shit. I'm going to force myself
it's
through
good
it.
dog shit.
Nope. You know what?
guess I
You
have-
tell me that when you get about 10 hours in and it's still the same fucking thing. You're still assaulting the
okay.
same fucking bases, and you're not actually having Carlos Esposito show up for more than 5 minutes at a fucking time every now and again, and they continuously waste their fucking actors and ruin the story, and it's just so shit. I'm sorry. I'm
Not
so
COVID,
angry about
man,
that one.
COVID.
I played that. I streamed that game for 8 hours. I wanted to die.
Wow.
But anyways, new
Basically,
Pokemon
it's
Snap.
kind of repetitive and
It's more repetitive than any Far Cry I have ever played.
okay. Yeah, no, I've only played like a couple hours in, so yeah.
Yeah, I streamed it for 8 hours, then I streamed it for another 4, and then I this last week I streamed it for another 6 because we're trying to play the DLC, me and my friend are. And then like it also is even worse if you're playing with a friend because they constantly take away or don't allow the second player to have the same abilities as the host of the room.
Oh, interesting.
And it's so that you'll go off and like catch up to them in the single player game because your progress didn't save. So we literally have to swap back and forth who's hosting so we could keep our progress at the same point so that we both have the wingsuit, so that we both have this vehicle, so that we both have the stuff that we need to assault said bases at later times. But the bases are always the same fucking thing over and over and over again, and they don't change, and I swear to God it looks like I'm going back to the same place. It's just now nighttime instead. And I hate it. I hate it so much.
Sounds like it. But anyways,
Anyway,
new Pokemon
yeah.
Snap.
Tell us how you really feel. What's wrong with new Pokemon Snap?
I think it's a two-part
There's
thing.
no camera.
That'd
They
be
forgot
great.
about a camera.
Yeah, it's just, why are you just snapping our fingers the whole time? I mean, that isn't what I
I'm
want.
just snapping necks
It's a
the
rhythm
entire
game.
time.
No, so new Pokemon Snap, it's a two-part thing, because A, it had the hype going into it, but B, then it just had, like, just the most horrible progression scheme.
Absolutely,
to,
dog
like, get
shit.
through it. It just completely deflated any energy you could pour into the game. So, is it necessarily a bad game? No. It's just incredibly, like, okay. That's where I would put it. It just had a lot of hype and excitement going into it, and then just the way that they made the progression in the game just sucked all the air out of it, and you're just kind of left with just an okay game. Would it
My
be more
biggest
fun-
issue. Oh, sorry, I didn't know you had more.
I was gonna
for
say
okay
the game probably would be more fun if everything was unlocked from the beginning, and then you just kind of progress through and just get going. And
Well, I
just-
was just gonna mention the original game, right?
Mhm.
So the original game, you would you play through a mission and you unlock the next mission. You play through a mission, you'd unlock the next mission. Play through a mission, you unlock the next mission, and so on and so forth. And then you would want to go back to those past missions to complete some things because you've gotten a little bit more progression, you've gotten different items that you can use back in the past levels, and you'd
Yeah.
want to do that because you've already seen other levels and you haven't gotten sick of that other level and you're like, I want to go back to that. But this one forces you to play the first stage 10 times
yeah, multiple
before you
times.
can progress.
Okay.
And granted, they're like
there's
different
only
levels. But...
slight variations. Is it different levels? It's the same level with slight variations of where Pokemon are placed and which ones are there.
That was just they call it levels, I believe, in the game.
Yes,
but it's the same stage, but they have like 3 different levels to each stage. But it's the same routes with just different Pokemon among those routes. But they also got rid of stuff from the original ones too. Like you can't evolve Pokemon in this one, and yeah, it is very tedious. You have to play like each like level twice to unlock like the next level, and then usually unlocking the next stage has some like arbitrary thing tied to it. Like, oh, you have to unlock this in this stage, and like some of the later levels, I remember talking about it on the podcast, but some of the later levels. Getting the unlocks for the last stages were just so frustrating because they're like, oh, you had to see this very obscure thing down this trench that's in the beginning of the game. That's the only place you can see it. And if you missed it, then you just start the whole stage over again. Dumb. Super dumb.
Yep.
Yeah, just not a fan of the way
there's just way too much of that too. And it just, it really took the wind out of the sails, like you said. Like, I was excited for that game. And then I just think they made it feel way too much like a mobile game.
It was
probably,
like
how mobile games have grindy progression systems. That's what it felt like playing this $60 game.
I'd be willing to bet that at some point in that game's life, it was a mobile game.
Maybe.
Could be. Who knows?
So it's not that it's bad. It's just incredibly okay.
Yes, that is exactly how. Like, because like I said, I think once you unlock everything in the game, if you picked it up brand new and had everything unlocked from the get go, I feel like you'd have a very different experience than what we had having to unlock everything.
Yeah, you wanted to experiment, but like you don't really have the ability to experiment with things. You just have to go. Find the specific thing they want you to find so you can continue, so that you can find the specific thing, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, and there's just no payoff. It's not there.
It's honestly kind of how I felt about Deathloop.
But the next thing on the list, Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack. That one almost doesn't even need any explaining because I think it's universally probably one of the biggest disappointments of the year. But everyone got hyped as fuck when Nintendo was like, hey guys, N64 Genesis games coming to the Switch like next month. Stay tuned for details. And then they're like, here are the details. It's an upgrade. It's an expansion pack, not just an add-on to what you already have. It's no longer the $20 a year. It's the $50 a year. And we're still going to trickle out games with an unknown release schedule and hope you guys enjoy it. So there you go.
Yeah. And get fucked.
Mm-hmm. And then, not to mention, too, for the people who did end up getting it, I mean, there was the Animal Crossing expansion, which I guess it was nice if that's something you're planning on doing. However, the N64 and to some degree, the N64 games definitely, and to some degree the Genesis games, suffer from bugs. Some of them are just like visual bugs, which are annoying. And then some of them are like the Paper Mario like save glitch that they found, which is really annoying if you are playing through a long RPG like that, where it doesn't, because I guess the system save data is like cached into the Switch, so if it hard crashes, and it just wipes all of that out with it. It's not like it's saved with the system separately.
That sucks.
So that sucks. And apparently, people have only really recorded it happening in Paper Mario, but according to people who do, what's the phrase I'm looking for? The people who look through the code,
data miners.
Data miners.
Yes, data miners. They've said that it's possible in any of the games because they all do the same thing. It just those games apparently are more stable.
I see.
So it has not happened yet, which is disappointing, especially too. I think the thing that surprises me most about this was we got a taste of N64 last year with the Super Mario 3D All-Stars, which I believe was also up for biggest disappointment, but for different reasons.
Yep.
But the N60, Super Mario 64 on that was
fine.
Was it what we wanted? Graphically, no, but it was a pretty fucking solid version of Mario 64. It ran really nicely.
Yeah.
It looked solid despite the fact they didn't really do any major upgrades to it. And like it was a pretty solid, like if you were going to use it as like a demo for what Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack could be, you're
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, those N64 games won't be too bad. But what we got was not what they basically had shown us. So just a big old disappointment there. So yeah, and they're still, and the trickling out of the games just kills me too.
Yeah,
They've
and
gotten
sorry.
one new game so far, Paper Mario.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I was gonna say also to add to it, the input lag is supposedly very, very bad. So
I've not noticed it yet, but I haven't played too much of it either.
it
So-
might also be a case of like you wouldn't notice it. You know
Oh.
what I'm understand what I'm saying more or less?
Yeah. Mhm.
Like some people, they don't do so bad when it comes to like input lag or frames per second or whatever, and that's
As
fine.
you know, I am.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was
Mhm.
gonna say. You are one of those people already, so maybe you just don't notice the input lag. But
Mhm.
someone that does stuff like speed running or that has played a game a lot very often in the original way it was meant to be played, they would probably be way more susceptible
Oh
to
yeah,
it
those
and
people
notice it
definitely
already.
would be. Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, the only real nice thing to come out of it is those controllers they made for the Switch are pretty nice.
They're
I have
nice.
actually nothing but good things to say about the N64 controller.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but that's literally it. Like the actual service kind of sucks.
Okay.
So yeah. So there's that. I'll let you guys pick up from there with the other stuff.
Wait, I didn't even look. Let me-
Mario
I
Golf
think-
looks like one of yours.
Oh
mine
yeah,
is yours.
it sure is.
I hard disagree with that actually.
I don't. I'm sorry, but when you make me play speed golf to unlock the actual good elements of the golf game and the actual elements that make me want to play the golf game portion of it, I'm good. It's a lot like the Pokemon Snap debate. You have to go through so much shit when if that shit wasn't put in front of you, then it could have been a good game just from the get-go. But due to the fact that so many courses have to do with playing the story mode, and the story mode wants you to play like Where It Lies and Speed Golf, and the Where It Lies one where it's like you have to travel to all the holes by hitting it here and getting it in the hole and then hitting it off this green and getting into the next hole and using the things like the tornadoes to go up, and a lot of it felt like very RNG heavy the way it was presented. It really sucked all the fun and enjoyment I had in the game out of it, in my opinion. Now, I haven't played it online. I will admit that wasn't something I cared to do. Now maybe all of those are unlocked from the get-go online, or maybe there was a patch that did so. When the game first released, that was not an option, and that really sucked. And that made me put the game down almost immediately because I did not want to grind out a really shitty version of golf just to play what I wanted to play in the first place that I paid the money for.
What? You did not?
No, I didn't. So that's my stance on it.
Mhm.
I would like to hear your rebuttal.
So I mean, I mostly play this as a multiplayer game with my friends,
I understand.
and it was fun. It was Mario Golf, and I had a fun time with it. I didn't bother doing any of the single player stuff because I'm not playing a single player Mario sports game.
Were all the courses unlocked from you for the get-go, and when did you have
How
this
many
game?
courses are in the game? Oh no, are all the courses unlocked? No, actually.
Okay.
I will say that playing the courses normally, we unlock them. Like we legit played like a game of like the back nine, and then like
Mhm.
after that game was done, it was like, hey, guess what? A new course, baby! And I was like, oh, that's awesome.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How close to launch was this? Because I want to find out if it's something
Oh.
that was added in later or
When
whatever. Because
did the game come out?
September maybe. Let me see.
Mario Golf, it was like May.
Really?
Wait, did it even come out this year? Why I thought it... I'm
Yeah,
sure
it
think that was
definitely came
last
out this year. No, it came out in 2021
Hold on.
Oh yeah, no, it was like May.
June 25th.
June.
Oh yeah, June. Yeah.
Okay.
See, I knew it was really happy.
I played it August-ish, late August, early September.
So there were some patches out by then. It's entirely possible that either that happened or I didn't know about the multiplayer aspect of it where you could play to unlock courses. And if that is the case, then I concede, and you're totally fine. I get it. But it was presented to me as I can't unlock the rest of these courses until I played through this shitty story mode. And that is what made me absolutely detest the game in the first place. because speed golf is garbage. And then the Where It Lies version of golf that they had, where you had to use the actual, like, what would normally be obstacles, but use them to your advantage, but there's so much RNG involved in it that it's like, oh, maybe it's going to go up the hill, or maybe it's just going to get fucking flung off into space, and I don't know where the fuck it's at, and that's an extra stroke penalty, and I only have so many strokes I could use, and if I use up all my strokes, I have to start over the entire fucking round. That sucks. So, I greatly disliked Mario Golf.
Yes, I know.
Anyway, that's that. I'm done with that.
Okay.
Bye.
And
I didn't play Mario Golf, but I'm disappointed in it.
that's my man. But I thank you, Nick, for letting me know. I'll just play some of the normal stuff in multiplayer and check it out then. That way, see if it unlocks everything. I appreciate that information.
Yeah, I guess you will find out. Did you
I will.
make your peace with Phantasy Star?
Yeah, fuck it. I already said how upset I am. I'm done. I don't want to talk about Phantasy Star. That's how done I am with it.
Alright. And what about Far Cry?
I think I already said enough about Far Cry 6.
Man, I wasn't disappointed by any games this year.
Nothing?
I really
Good
need
for
to-
you.
I need to think about it. Dude. I mean, I only have so much time to play anything, right? So I have to choose games that I hopefully know I'm going to like.
Mhm.
And again, like I think I completed about maybe half a dozen games
Mm-hmm.
total of the entire year. So if I'm not feeling it, I just don't play it anymore. I just stop playing it. I don't force myself to grind into a game I don't like.
Mhm.
I'm trying to think, was I disappointed by any game? I'm sure I was. I'm sure if I really dig deep down.
What did you play this year? Or what did you finish that you
I
like?
finished RE8. I finished
Okay.
Deltarune.
Okay.
I played the Resident Evil 3 demo. I have the Resident Evil 3 game. I heard that was
It's a
pretty
good game.
disappointing by people. But was that come out this year? Or
Yeah.
was that last year?
No, that was 2020, I believe. But like the reason why people were disappointed by the Resident Evil 3 game is because it felt like it should have just been an expansion to the second one and shouldn't have been a full
Right.
price title. So like if you got it for cheap, then I don't think you'll be disappointed in it.
I don't buy games new usually, unless
Mhm.
it's like a game I really want, like Persona. Persona 5 Royale came out this year, right?
Yeah,
Didn't
did you
it?
like that?
Yes, it did.
I love Persona 5, so I'm sure I know Persona 5 Royale is even better. And I just, again, that's like a 200-hour game, you know?
Do you know what the
beat
difference
Persona
between
5.
the two are, out of curious? Oh wait, Royale is what you were talking about, not Strikers. My
Yeah,
bad.
yeah.
Sorry,
I played
Strikers
the
is
first one
what I
all the
got
way through,
confused.
beat it. Second
I thought
one,
Royale
I
was
played the
2020.
Royal was 2020.
first.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Royal came out. So
Lost
that
that.
came out the same time period, I believe, as Final Fantasy VII Remaster.
And Yakuza, Like a Dragon.
Yeah.
It actually came out in Japan in 2019.
Ooh.
Um,
You should play Royale and then you should try Strikers if you don't mind Dynasty Warrior kind of games.
Yeah,
Strikers
I've-
is a direct continuation of Royale.
okay. Yeah, Strikers is free on PlayStation.
Yeah, it was free this
so
month.
I'm going to get
Yeah.
it. Sure. No, nothing bothered me.
Okay.
I'm pretty easygoing.
No, you seem pretty chill about like just things in general.
I just let it all wash over me. I'm trying to think if I ever been disappointed in a game. I'm sure I have. Like if I think back in terms of my entire life, there's some games I've gotten where I'm like I was excited about, and then they disappointed me.
Mm-hmm.
I think Beyond Oasis. I was kind of disappointed in that.
Beyond Oasis.
It's like a Sega
That
Genesis
sounds
game.
familiar. Oh, okay, okay. Why? Let me see this. Oh, wow. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm old school.
Wait, isn't this? Oh, it might
Okay,
be
okay. Here's a game I
mistaken.
was kind of disappointed in.
Okay.
Maybe it's because I just am not in the right mindset for it. But have you anybody played that virtual reality Walking Dead game that came out like a few years ago?
I haven't. I
PlayStation
really want
VR.
to though.
It's actually pretty neat in terms of the design,
Mm-hmm.
but the overall gameplay, I just couldn't get into it. It was kind of. It
Is it
felt
like
kinda
open world?
samey. It's not open world. It's kind of like you go into different parts of town and you kind of
Uh-huh.
collect things and you craft stuff and you kill
Okay.
zombies. And I couldn't get into the gameplay loop. I thought it had a good strong start.
Mhm.
I liked the way that you used your body interact with things. You had to reload and move your hands, and you had to reach behind your back to grab your axe. I thought that was really neat. But the just gameplay mechanics, I just wasn't into, and I just lost interest very quickly.
Okay.
So there you go. Put that on the list. Resident.
It released in 2020. I've wanted to play it since it released, actually, because I think it looks really good.
Yeah. I don't think it came out this year, but I played that Goose game, Untitled Duck Goose. That came out
2019.
All the years blend together.
No, dude, I totally feel you on that one. Were you disappointed in Untitled Goose Game?
No. I'm just talking about games.
Oh, okay. All right, I was like, wait a minute. I thought that game was fun.
Game. Very quick to finish.
Mm-hmm.
Really enjoyed it.
It's like a nice little snack. You sit down.
That's a breath of fresh air.
Then you're done.
That's a breath of fresh air game if I were to ever.
Yeah, honestly.
If I'm going to vote for something, I'm going to go with the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack.
Yeah.
Did we already talk about the Diablo 2 remaster?
Yeah, I'm talking about that.
Okay. Let's do it, man.
I understand this is probably just a disappointment for me, most likely.
Oh, it's not.
Probably. I don't know. Did you?
It's not just you.
Okay, I thought it was just me. Because one of my earliest gaming memories was playing Diablo 2 on my PC growing up, and Diablo 2 was one of my first forays majorly into just dumping hours upon hours into a game.
Mm-hmm.
And I was super excited to hear about the remaster because a lot of the things that they were talking about I really liked, how you could jump between the old and the new visuals. I was probably going to play the old visuals half the time. The cross save and cross progression was really cool as well.
Yeah, which doesn't exist. That's pretty cool.
Which apparently doesn't exist now. And that's what they were talking about doing. So I could be playing it on my PC and then go play it on my Switch. And if I had an internet connection at whoever house I was at, I could or even hotspot from my phone.
Yeah.
But the game unfortunately came out a buggy, crappy mess that doesn't work half the time because it needs to connect to the internet to run.
And their servers are fucking trash.
And yep.
Yeah, I've tried pushing through this with 2 different people because we both really, really liked Diablo 2, and I couldn't do it. I just can't do it.
Yeah.
The servers drop so often, and then you get reset back so much that's oh, that really cool item I just got, oh, it's fucking gone.
Yep.
And it's RNG, so I'm not gonna get it again. So
and half the point not I would say half the point, but one of the major things that excites me about playing Diablo and playing games like that is the loot that will randomly drop. Half of the point that you play that game, I would say, is you run random instances to try and find sets of armors, weapons, and whatnot. And once you catastrophically fuck that part of the game up, it's not fun anymore. So, among other reasons, I won't be supporting Blizzard anymore. Diablo 2. Yeah, Diablo 2 took a hallmark, a pillar of my childhood gaming, if you will, and just took a fat dookie dump all over it, and just produced a shitty cash grab of a shell of a game that I used to really, really love.
Yep.
So, while that be unfortunate, because it also probably spells disaster for the future of that series as a whole, if Diablo 4 even gets pooped out, but that's neither here nor there. Diablo 2 to me was my biggest disappointment this year because while looking at this list, there are some things on here that I'm was the NSO expansion pack a disappointment? Yeah, in a sense. I mean, to me, I don't really care because I'm on my friend's family plan, so I'm actually paying less a year than I was for it. And I get the Happy Home Paradise shit. That's what I was actually most caring about, and that's actually really good. And the Genesis games are fine too. So I wouldn't say that's my biggest disappointment. I didn't get Pokemon Snap. Mario Golf I actually have fun with. But then again, that's also a difference between when I played it and when you played it, Brandon.
Yeah, we just had 2 different experiences.
Yeah.
And that's totally fine.
PSO, I even though I didn't experience that, I can relate to your experiences on that of, it just being an absolute shit show.
They literally killed the player base. That's my biggest problem. They split the player base, and then they didn't release enough, so the split player base didn't go back to the original, and so there's not enough player base on any server. It's not funny.
The only real thing that I guess I wholeheartedly disagree with on this list being here is Far Cry 6, not because it's actually a good game, but because you expected way too much out of a Far Cry game, let alone an Ubisoft game.
So, I've
I think
had
that's
fun.
really fair point.
Although I do understand where you're coming from, I have had fun with every single Far Cry game
Mm-hmm.
that I've played, especially in co-op, right?
Yeah.
The biggest issue, and I kind of explained this a bit, and I don't know if you disconnected because you were restarting your PC and everything. One of my biggest issues, I honestly can't remember. One of my biggest issues with Far Cry 6 is the fact that it tries to artificially lengthen the game by making it so the second player that's playing the game has to exit out of the multiplayer server that he's playing the game in because his progress doesn't save. And then he has to go to the single player and he has to go and do everything he just did in the multiplayer again, but by himself. Or invite that player into his room and then they have to do it that way. Just so I can get a fucking wingsuit. So that I can experience most of the fucking game.
Yeah.
And as such, that is awful. That's awful design, and I've not had that problem with any other Far Cry game. And it also is just so samey. Like, the environment is just boring. I feel like I'm rushing the same, the same buildings over and over and over and over again. None of the characters are interesting. Danny Trejo's in it, and I barely could give a shit about him. If you make me not care about Danny Trejo, you fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
And Carlos Esposito? I don't remember how it's pronounced. I'm so sorry. Despacito. Well, anyway, the man from fucking Breaking Bad who played
Gus
Fring.
Gus.
Yeah, he's an excellent actor. And they misuse him so much here, and the moments that he's on screen and doing his whole shtick, it's really good. But that happens so few and far between that it's like, oh, okay. And much like with Far Cry 3, they try to like pull a whole switcheroo, and it's just fucking stupid. And it really, I'm so sad by this game. Like you say, I shouldn't expect anything, but honestly, I expect better from Far Cry games. They're normally like my popcorn films.
Yeah.
Just sit down, turn my brain off, have some fun and enjoyment playing multiplayer with friends, and then that's the end of that experience. It's not a Game of the Year contender ever, but it is a game that I enjoy and have a lot of fun with. And this is the year that I no longer had fun playing Far Cry. And it's a big disappointment because of that.
Okay. That's fair. But again, like, too, for me, like, I don't know, whenever I see... If I ever see like an Ubisoft logo appear on my screen for a game announcement and it's not immediately followed by Mario and Rabbids, I'm like, another one for the file.
And immediately shut your screen off.
Yeah, another one for the file.
Mm-hmm.
But
I understand.
So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, what are we generally feeling about this one? Because, like,
Nintendo Switch Online takes it.
You think Nintendo Switch Online takes it?
I would love to agree with you guys on the Nintendo Switch Online, but I'm actually with Nick because Diablo 2 was such an important game to me as well growing up, and I really do feel like they took my nostalgia, sold it back to me for $40, made it a worse experience, and also sold it in a non-working state, and it's still not working to this day.
Well, I mean, a lot happened with Blizzard.
They're also a really shitty company, so there's that too, which isn't helping them. I don't know. I don't care. My main point is, like, I share your same frustration, Nick.
Okay.
Diablo 2 is fucking trash, and it made me so sad.
Maybe we should take the opposite approach then and just figure out what we don't want on this list. So do it to remove 3 things.
You can remove Phantasy Star and Far Cry 6. Far Cry 6, I just need to say my piece and why I was so sad and disappointed by it.
Okay.
But looking from a general, like, public standpoint, Phantasy Star is not going to be on there, neither is Far Cry 6. Neither is Pokemon Snap, neither is Mario Golf. In fact, many people have Pokemon Snap on their best Game of the Year list, and I'm just looking at those people like, what is wrong with you? But,
I like to snap Pokemon.
Yeah.
Snap them all. But I could go either way with those two, to be honest. because I really don't care.
Yeah, honestly, I don't either. I feel like it's between Nintendo Switch Online and Diablo 2 Remaster, and it really depends on the way you look at it. If you're looking at this as from a game point of view, and not a service point of view, then I would go with Diablo 2 Remaster. But if you're looking at it just from a disappointment point of view, I'd still probably go with Diablo 2 Remaster because fucking Blizzard, right?
I mean, yeah. I mean, for me, that's the one that takes it because like that was one of the things I was most excited for this year, and it just didn't pan out. Because another thing too with the Nintendo Switch Online, like it kind of goes hand in hand with the Far Cry thing, where like, were we expecting anything good out of those 64 games? Because if I remember correctly, was it in the Mario 3D All Stars collection, like the Mario 64 game, like just wasn't like.
No, it was fine. It was
Mario
fine.
64 was actually fine. Like, I mean, it wasn't like I think we were expecting like an upgrade, like like updated graphics and stuff. All it did was up-res it, but it ran smooth. It wasn't glitchy. It didn't have any like major issues with it. They used a brand new version of the game, so we got like.
It wasn't
Rumble
really
and everything
brand
to it.
new. It was the Japanese.
brand new to
version
the
that was
US.
released,
Yeah.
but yes, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, we had like a nice like updated amount of features for the game, and then but this one came out and you got buggy, slow responsive, like
basically
glitchy.
the Super Mario 64 in the Nintendo Switch Online is worse than the one that's in the pack in Mario All Stars, and how they fucked that up that quickly is kind of impressive.
Yeah, and even arguably, it's the worst version of like any of these games, too. I mean, I started Ocarina of Time. I never even bothered to finish it. I got like halfway through it, so there was a lot of issues, like what we talked about too, like stuff like. I know Brandon brought it up when it was out, but what was it? The water temple, like they completely ruined like the visual look of the one like mid boss because they took out like a lot of the graphical features for it. Yeah, the game is up-res, like all the games are up-res, but it's not like a quality thing. It's just they're just sharper. That's really it. Like I don't know, like just so little care was put into porting these over. Like arguably, yes, you can say like, oh yeah, Diablo 2 Remaster was a bad version of one game, but Nintendo Switch Online was a bad version of at least like what 10 and 64 games on top of the crap with the Genesis games.
Yeah,
and the Genesis games too. They're worse than the Genesis pack that Sega put out themselves for the Switch.
That's true.
Which is cheaper.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the one last thing I do want to say about Diablo 2 Remaster for you, Nick, what have you played this on?
Diablo 2 Remaster?
Yes.
I haven't purchased it because I refuse to.
Oh, okay, so you've only seen it then?
Yeah, no, I refuse to.
Okay, so I also haven't purchased it, but I do own it on 3 things. It doesn't work on any of them. I just want to go ahead and let you know that.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work on PlayStation 5, it doesn't work on Xbox Series S, and it doesn't work on PC. It's just a shit show across the board. So, it's not a case of like, oh, well, maybe they did the PC version, but no, they didn't. And or maybe maybe it's better on the next gen. It's not. It just isn't. It's just not good. My friend from GameStop gave me all his copies, so that's the reason why I have so many.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just not good in any way, shape, or form. Where do you guys want to go on this one?
I told you, I have Nintendo Switch Online. Should have it.
Same here.
Nick, what do you want to do?
I mean, it's gonna be Diablo for me because that's the one that disappointed me this year.
Mm-hmm. I've never been so disappointed in something I got free 3 times.
That's a lie.
No, it's pretty true.
Okay, no, there's No Man's Sky because you actually went out of your way to like refund that game 3 times too. But then I don't know, unless you're like doing like a mic and saying it doesn't count because you bought it like 7 times total. So
yeah, but I'm not disappointed in No Man's Sky anymore. No, you know what? Hold on, I'm gonna stop you right there. No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky is literally one of the best exploration games that exist right now. If you like exploration games, you would. Yes, it's better than Red Dead.
When I bought it, no. When it first came out, no. Now, yeah.
Absolutely not. Yes, yeah. Now it is. But that shows just how much care and attention they put into something and didn't charge any extra money for it, which is impressive, honestly.
Yeah, no, they followed through eventually.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, what do you want? Do you want the best game ever in 5 years, or do you want, a good game?
So many people are like, that's what's going to happen to Cyberpunk. And I'm like, no, it ain't.
Nope. Although I enjoyed it.
Rumors that there's a new expansion coming out for Cyberpunk.
That rumor's already been, like, proven false.
You never know.
So there's that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still with Nick on this. I really do feel like Diablo 2 was... I didn't have expectations for Switch Online. Because Switch Online's always been trash. I at least had some expectations that you couldn't fuck up a remaster of a game that was already so well done and make it run worse than it when I used to play it on dial-up modem.
Do you remember the Warcraft 3 remake that came out before this?
I didn't care about that, though.
No, I know, but Brandon does. I know, and I know exactly what he's thinking now. He's like, oh, Mike's right. I do remember that. And I didn't think they could fuck that up either, because they actually put out a version originally that was not bad, and then they still went and fucked it up.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Nick, I'm so sorry. Mike's right here. I'm so sorry. I gotta go with it to the Switch expansion pack. Mike's so right. Oh my god, I forgot they fucked up not World of Warcraft. They fucked up Warcraft 3 and its expansions, and then they made it so that was the only version you could play. Oh my god, I forgot about that. Alright, Mike's right. Sorry, I have to concede.
That's fair.
But I do agree, like the Diablo, that is kind of shitty too. So we're going to Nintendo Switch Online, but we do still have to pick a final runner-up.
It's Diablo. Easily.
Oh, no, Diablo is one of the runners-up, but we need another runner-up. So Mario Golf or Pokemon Snap?
Pokemon Snap.
Snap. Alright. Alright, get out of here. Snap. Alright, so biggest disappointment goes to Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack, the runners-up. Strong runner-up, Diablo 2. And then Pokemon Snap, new one. The new Pokemon Snap. But don't worry, you will be disappointed with the original Pokemon Snap soon enough when it returns to Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack.
Holy shit, it's just come full circle.
Yes. And that's a wrap for our first day of Game of the Year 2021. Stay tuned for more Game of the Year episodes coming later this week and later this month as we make our way towards naming the best games of 2021. Now, with that said, let's take us out. Thank you, everyone, for listening to us tonight. Don't forget to find us on iTunes, Stitcher, game-crunch.com. If you want to reach out to us, we're on Facebook, Twitter. Send us email at gamecrunchcast@gmail.com. Dave, where can people find you?
You can find me at aroundthelens.com. Go learn about visual journalism.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. Brandon, any
Hey, how you
thoughts?
doing? Yeah, just some of the games I mentioned. Please look into them. Those people definitely deserve more attention, especially in the indie scene.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm always down to give indie developers their due. So I guess that's all. There you go.
All right, Nick.
I got nothing.
All right, and me. I am Clash Penguin on Twitter, your favorite gaming console. Until next week, game on.
Game.
Woo.
Yahoo!